Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television from the Political Command Center, miles away from the headquarters in Nairobi. This morning, we are joined by Professor Gerard Onyari. Professor, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Masanga, Daniel, our viewers from wherever they are around the world.
Thank you very much. And next is we are joined by our investigative journalist, none other than Sean Daniel Wesonga. Good morning.
A very good morning, Dr. Masanga David from our Political Command Center, Professor Jared Onyari, Nairobi, and our viewers here in Kenya, Africa, and the globe at large. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers. Today, Miriam is on other, she is off, and we are handling the issue as it is, and therefore expect us to be men only. We are not chosen to be men only. And the lady in Malindi is on another assignment. Today she will not be available. Therefore, she's, as you know, she's a teacher, and the teachers are returning to teach. So she's also making preparations for her return to the university. She's a very high teacher teaching those institutions. So today, I think they are required to be in their schools. So thank you very much, Karen Josephs, until maybe tomorrow or the other days when she has synchronized her timetable, is when we can have her on the show. Otherwise, good morning, gentlemen. The state of the nation is very worrying. The state of the nation, that's what we are going to look through. We shall look through, Miriam is not here to tell us the COVID numbers. I don't know whether Wesonga has picked any, but the curve has been going down, so you will tell us about those. But for us this morning, the church and the politics. We shall look at the church and the politics in Kenya. Professor, time and time again, Good Morning Africa, we have been looking at what we can do, what can be done, what can make a change for Africa. We are having a problem that is flowing on the streets. Yesterday you saw it flow in Muranga. We don't know where it will flow next. Don't you think it is time now the church separated itself from politics? And when you go to church, you simply go and pray and go out without issuing statements in the church pulpit, which provoke some congregation to attack those who have gone to church. What do you think about this?
Thank you, Dr. Masanga, for that good question. Here is that that's ordinarily what is supposed to be, that we go to church to worship. And the people who go to church to worship, they don't come from one side of the political divide. There are those who are in the left, there are those who are in the right, there are those who are in the center, and those who are non-committal. When we go to church, we go for spiritual nourishment. But when you talk about the church today, they have stopped from leading people to spiritual life and concentrated on the material things. And when that one has reached that one, they have gone for material things, Dr. Masanga, then we have lost it. You don't invite politicians, one side of the politicians, and then you tell them to be in charge of the faction of the church. There we have lost it, Dr. Masanga, and the men of the Korah must be able to re-examine themselves. Otherwise, from where I sit, the church has lost it. I have said in this show before that when you find a politician and the church speaking the same language, the church receiving the proceeds of corruption, the church inviting people whom they know very well, that these people have been involved in corruption. I'm very proud of the Catholic Church because there was one time one of their members received a gift of a brother, I don't know, and it was compared by the leadership of the church to return that gift, which was given to him, which was considered that it was taken of the proceeds of corruption. So, Dr. Masanga, from where I sit, if the church do not take their positions and do what they have been called to do, then they will lead God's people astray and they will stand to be charged. The life which was lost yesterday at Keno in Muranga, it was not supposed to be, because at the end of the day, when signals, Dr. Masanga, are there that the two sides are saying that you are not going to have this one. I hope if there are men and the women of God reading this charge, they could have called off that faction. But since they have entered the material things of this world, this is where we find ourselves, Dr. Masanga.
What do you think? Why do you think the church could not call off this function?
They have gone for material things, Dr. Masanga. This is not the first time, Dr. Masanga, you have had the deputy president going to church to raise money. He raises the money and sometimes he goes and collects that money back. He tells the men of the Korah, I'm giving you 5 million, but basically the money I'm giving you is 1 million. Then they return the 4 million. So, Dr. Masanga, there is politics going on. So why they could have not called off the meeting, it is because, Dr. Masanga, they have conformed themselves to the standards of the word, as we are told in Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. We have conformed to the standards of the world. We want to be like the word. We want to get material like the word. So it is not a must that God's church will be built by the money of the politicians.
So it is you are a church leader yourself. You are
at a lower level, but I've got a voice as a member of the church.
You are a church leader and you are a chaplain.
Yes, when I see things going wrong, Dr. Masanga, be assured that my voice, I will raise my voice. I will not keep quiet as a Christian of good standing and as a man who has been called by God.
Is it necessary to announce going to church?
No.
Because we are looking at the root cause. Some of us go to church but quietly. Some of us pray but quietly. Some of us pray from near our beds. You kneel, you put a mat near your bed. In my room, I have a mat with Jesus' image down there. I always pull it and pray. And kneel and pray. And say whatever I want to say.
Yes.
Is it necessary to announce where you are going to church for? Where you are going to church to? How you are going there?
When we go for funeral, we go as mourners. There is no mourner who has got status. We go as mourners. When you go to church, we go to church as sinners. There is no sinner who has got status. This is where the leaders of the church have lost it, Dr. Masanga. There should be clear separation between the state and the church, politics and the church. Politicians have come to church to worship. But since the leadership of the church have so much obsessed with material things, that's why they invite these people come and greet the people. And it is not only greeting Dr. Masanga, they speak politics. Politics of dividing.
So in this case, Professor, I'm still stuck on you. I want to get an answer here. In this case, where does the blame lie to? Whom does the blame lie to? The congregants who come not knowing, or the congregants who have known also? Because most of the people who come, do they come because the deputy president has gone to church? Or do they come to pray because they want to pray to Jesus Christ and God? You study, you part of it, your study was psychology.
The problem, the Prem stands at the doorsteps of the leadership of the church of the church and the deputy president. He should go to church as a worshiper, not as a deputy president. So the moment we call the word the titles to the church and the way the church or the leadership of the church see that this is where we go wrong, Dr. Masanga. We go to church to worship. Because Dr. Masanga, when you go to church, you are being told, may we stand and sing? We stand and sing. May we kneel down? That is how God wants us to do things. So on this, Dr. Masanga, the bishop, the pastors, they have found themselves in the tune of the things of this the world. That's where the Prem stands, Dr. Masanga.
Thank you very much. I am still on the same question, and I want to ask Wesonga, Sean, Daniel. I've got an answer from Professor. Is it the leadership of the church we should blame, or the congregants? And then I'll sum up my thoughts.
Yes, Dr. Masanga, I've listened to what Professor has said, and I agree with him quite strongly because you understand that the leadership of the church has a voice on whatever occasions that take place in the churches, even in the local church that I go to. The leadership is what dictates whatever happens there. If the church leadership says that there will be no politician who will be given room to spread the politics of the day to the congregants, it will not happen, trust me. And as an investigative journalist, Masanga, I went further after yesterday's incidents. I went further to investigate this particular church, and I found out that when the Catholic Church here in Kenya agreed that its parishes will not allow any kind of political donation in terms of harambes, this particular church in Murang'a went ahead with the same leadership to condemn the decision taken by the Catholic Church to refuse the donation from the political class and termed it unbiblical. So to me, I think the problem, the root cause of this kind of problem emanates from the leadership of the church. Because if the church had told this politician to come there to worship as congregants, as other congregants, as Professor has said, we wouldn't have had this chaos that we witnessed yesterday. So to me, it all starts with the church leadership. And where there is where the blame should lie.
So you are saying the blame should lie where the church is lying. If church leaders, if you can look at the pictures that are on the screen, a pre-arranged t-shirts, well-organized posters. The church leaders see these things in their midst. The deputy president saw this before he left his home. In your opinion, Karanja, wherever you are, Karanja? Mr. Karanja?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. In your opinion,
yes,
as an acting president and a deputy president, would he not have, if he saw this before,
yes,
would you favor his going there, or you would have cancelled the going there?
I would have cancelled it.
Why?
Yeah, and I want to say that, when he saw this coming, and I saw the advert was done by the PR member of Parliament, and the Alice Home. The posters were so big that he occupied the whole part of that poster, and the picture of the pastor was somewhere in the corner. Meaning that function was a political function. The church was just there to see them through, and that's something that we must condemn. And as leaders of this nation, they must not use the their own political vehicle and as a political tool, so that they can take the cognizance of the judge. And the blame and the people who should be blamed mostly are the leaders of the judge, because they are the ones who give leaders a space. They create space after trouble for them to speak to the congregation. And I think unless the judge and the leaders wake up, the congregants will not wake up, because they rely on what their leaders tell them. And that's where the problem lies altogether. And for the deputy president, I think he should also diversify his work he does. He should not concentrate on one place. Even other places, they need those things that he's taking there. He should not only concentrate on Mount Kenya region and the Nairobi. He should also go to other places. I think he can use judges in Eldoret and other places. And I think the judges will also wake up, and for them, it's all possible means these kind of occurrences that are happening on a Sunday. And I think if it was on another day, a weekday, maybe we could see something else. Yeah.
First of all, this is coming in the backdrop of several other attempts the whole of last week, where we saw Jubilee Party raveling itself. Professor Onyari, coming back to you. With the headline that we see on the Daily Nation, outrage as fight takes a deadly turn. We have seen this, we have warned this about this. We have warned that we are hurtling towards a conflict. What else do you think President Uhuru Kenyatta should do today and now, not even yesterday? What can we do to curtail the type of rallies that are going to create us conflict?
Dr. Masanga, I have no doubt in my mind that President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is the President of the Republic of Kenya, the Chief of Commander of Kenya Defense Forces. He has taken oath to protect the Constitution and to save life and property. He has got executive powers. He has got no election to face, but to leave a legacy. All the political rallies, premature campaigns should come to the stand, should stop forthwith, so that we can take time to face the pandemic of corona and see how does the economy recover, how do we open schools, how people go to their normal life. Time for campaigns will come, Dr. Masanga. And about the Jubilee Party, Dr. Masanga, yes, the elections were due, but the pandemic came. We cannot go to subject members of Jubilee Party to an election. We have examples to countries which went that route. Your country is a good example, and we are seeing how the numbers are going on. And Dr. Masanga, let me tell you, the second wave, I don't want to be a prophet of doom. The second wave of coronavirus, Dr. Masanga, with the kind of bad manners I'm seeing people from the Tanga movement, people from the political class are doing, Dr. Masanga, it is going to be very disastrous. So from where I sit, President Uhuru Kenyatta should ban all the political activities which do not conform to all the protocols given by World Health Organization, and the premature campaign should cease forthwith, Dr. Masanga.
Thank you very much. I get your point. Wesonga.
Dr. Masanga, it's very unfortunate that in Kenya, it's not even the opposition that is spearheading the premature campaigns, but a senior civil servant and the number two in the command, the presidency, that is the deputy president, that is leading this premature 2022 campaign. And I think President Uhuru Kenyatta should move with speed as the party leader of the Jubilee Party and be able to quell these premature campaigns. And there's a reason why even before we head to the general elections, that the law says that the parliament should be dissolved before now we officially begin campaigns. So for the deputy president and his allies to start campaigning barely 2 years to the general election, I think it is unnecessary, and it's putting the country into some kind of mayhem, like the one we witnessed yesterday in Kenol Murang'a. So I think it's quite premature. It's going to cause more harm to the Kenyan youth, and it's also going to derail the agenda of President Uhuru Kenyatta. And the way forward only is for President Uhuru Kenyatta to call off these campaigns and let everyone focus on service delivery. Until then, we cannot allow this country to be dragged into the same path that it was before the 2007-2008 post-election violence happened. And I think, Dr. Masanga, you've talked about that on your interview. You've talked about that in your articles. That the same path that we followed pre-2007-2008 post-election violence we are slowly being dragged to the same regrettable path by some politicians. And if we don't take care of the events as it is right now, then the ugly history is going to repeat again.
Thank you very much. Ugly history will repeat again. Karanja.
Yes.
What does the president do?
And for me, I think the president should make sure that he wakes up and calling out his deputy president with getting and going around tarnishing his name and his letters. I think what the president should do is, if it's possible, he should impose a photo of impeachment so that the deputy president will slam it behind it, because I think by being told by the word of mouth is not getting it.
Why do you think, Karanja, as you are still on the line, why do you think it is necessary to take that route? Why can't somebody take conscience? Political conscience. Politically, if you think you are not wanted, if you think you have a marriage that is not working, the husband is beating you up, you are not having the food you used to have, why do you think you should stay in the same kitchen?
I think the best you can do as a wife or as the deputy president, if you cook well and you change your own ways, then you can be accepted back and you can train to behave well. But if you can't stay with your ambition, if you think that this marriage is done, I think the best you can do, you don't wait to be chased out. You go out there and start a new family or become a single man. I think that is what the deputy should do. He should start his own campaign out there and become a political figure of parent and continue with the radicalism agenda without using the resources of the government of the day, because that is where it's contradicting things. Yesterday, I had these things that the Jubilee government and the president of Uhuru Kenyatta and him are doing this and that. Now the next day is telling us that this government has failed. I think he's done somewhere where he speaks from the both ends of the mouth, and I think the best he can do is either change his office and to relax, or he should go out there and start his own thing without using government resources or without using the taxpayers' money of this nation.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Dr. Masanga, yes. Before you ask the next question, see the pattern of violence in Kisii. See the pattern of violence in Murang'a yesterday. Were there similarities? The answer is yes. And as we discussed this, Dr. Masanga, I don't know whether you are getting the magnitude of this. We have lost 2 lives.
Yes.
Some people have been injured.
Yes.
Properties have been destroyed.
Yes.
What is the duty of a president of our country is to protect life and property.
Yes.
So if people are endangering themselves, and this is what Dr. Masanga, the intelligence might be failing the president. When they have the intelligence that these things are going to happen, the meeting could have been called off. So the intelligence should be at alert. Should they have any information that someone is going to cause chaos, the meeting should not go on.
Okay.
Professor
Yes.
saying toward the 2017 election, I remember in my own constituency we have an aspirant who had to kidnap himself so that he blames it on his opponent. So I think this kind of politics, it's not a matter of atomic science to be able to tell whoever is instigating these kind of scenarios so that they can be able to blame the government of the day and the parliamentarians who are pro-government on it. And I've seen even the bloggers who are allied to the deputy president before the event happened, that was on Saturday night, really posting some suggestive messages, which they named Sabina Chege. And that tells you, if you are an intelligent person, this was a pre-planned violence in order to taint the image of the government of the day, to taint the image of the police service, and some legislators who are known supporters of President Uhuru Kenyatta, the handshake at the BBI. That is my point, Dr. Masanga.
Thank you very much, viewers. Let's move on to one interesting chapter this morning. The pride and the shame of Kenya, still connected to the same. Believe me or not, brothers, yesterday was a very sad day for me. Kipchoge let us down, as if that was not enough. My team lost very badly. Not losing just, but very badly. 7 goals to 2 is very bad for a team of that stature. As if that was not even enough, Manchester United was hammered 5-1 by a team that should not have won, surely. At least Aston Villa. Aston Villa and us, we have rivalry.
Doctor, we are still healing from whatever happened yesterday.
I don't know whether you are in the same. I had put all my strength in Mr. Kipchoge. But when I was watching Kipchoge here, I saw from the 400 meters, when they said it was 400 meters left, I expected him to have pulled out and gone. But when I saw him running that way, I knew that things were all over. It was gone. We lost it. To the 8th place, it is too much for me. Then Liverpool, this is too much for me. I have no words even to, I don't have the energy. I've tried to have the energy, I don't know. But thanks God, I woke up. 43 years, I've never seen this in history at all. Thank you. Make your comments, Professor.
Yeah, Dr. Masanga, that is all life is all about. You need not to be in a bad mood because you worship God. You ask God for the good things. That's the same thing what Westonga does. That's what I do and what other person said. So if you were happy yesterday and you have been happy always, let also someone be happy and give God the glory. So what I need to do, whatever has happened, may God receive the glory. That's all I have to say. Because any athletes, wherever they go, I always see them, they go and they pray. So if God answered the prayers of those who were able to win yesterday, don't you see that we worship a living God? We are not entitled for good things. Even bad people, Dr. Masanga, the Bible tells us that God gives them rain, gives them sunshine. So, Dr. Masanga, that's the work of God. So take it easy, and that's how it feels, and that's how life is. Life cannot be smooth all the way. We cannot have all the win the rest of the other. The small team you are trying to say, the time has come for them to rise also to be a strong team. The Kipchoge has been a champion. Other champions have to come. You don't remain a champion in life. You become a hero. So to me, I have taken it very positive, Dr. Masanga.
Thank you very much. And I don't know, we're Songa Manchester United.
Yes. Actually, we were in the same boat as you in Liverpool, and it was quite a sad evening. And of course, as sportsmen, they always say that we live to fight another day, and that is what even Kipchoge said, because he came out and told his fans that towards the end of the marathon, the right side of his ear blocked, and that is what that impairment is what to lose the race. But nonetheless, as it is in the field of sports, we are always hopeful that another opportunity will come up, and then we shall be able to fight and be able to prove our victory. So even to Dr. Matsanga and his Liverpool, we believe that more matches are gonna come up, and then they're gonna probably have another victory to celebrate about, as well as my team, Manchester United. So that is how it is, and we hope for the best in the coming tournaments and other contests.
Very well.
Karanja,
Yes.
tell me. I don't know which team you support.
I support Arsenal.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
So thank you very much.
Yesterday was
I think on the comment, you can only comment on other things.
Yes, it's way to go more into this.
Dr.
No, you
Matsanga,
can go ahead. It's okay. It's okay. Comment Arsenal. I don't support Arsenal at all.
okay.
But you can make your good, your statement and praise your team very well.
It's good reflected, and there's no big deal or small thing. It depends on the day and how the match is. And that's exactly what happened to Liverpool and Manchester United. And I think football is something that you cannot get on. It's something that changes. It's a dynamic game. It changes every time, and every team has its own way. And on TikTok, I think every human has its own day. Every person has its good day and bad day. And yesterday was not a good day for every TikTok. But I think he still have another chance in the Olympics that will come next year, and the other marathon. Maybe he'll show the world that that was just a blind in the grass, but he'll make it next time. And I think maybe as a big athletics get old, I think it's a point where they start losing their energy. And I think maybe this is it comes, maybe his marathon camp has started flattening and really jogging.
Yes, your Arsenal.
My Arsenal, we don't talk much about Arsenal, especially in this kind of forum, because we are still working on it.
You are one of the teams that came out successfully this week. Do you think you will continue to keep the same on the same level? Are you not happy that you are associated by football, by the deputy president being your member of the team? And the former prime minister Raila Odinga?
Yeah, former president, so that one I know is a part of Arsenal team. But for I don't know whether he's real or Arsenal. He's just gathering from one team or the other. But for Raila Odinga, that's he's just the same team. And next season, we hope Arsenal still hoping for the next season will be much better for us.
Okay, thank you much. Thank you all of you for giving your views. Now, my view, yes, Wesonga.
Yes, Dr. Masanga, and perhaps maybe as one quintessential principle or virtue that the deputy president and his allies should learn from football and athletics is that as sportsmen, when you go into a competition or maybe if you are doing something, you have to lose honorably. It's not always a matter of life and death. You know, there are some fights which you can fight today, and there's some fights you can put aside and say, let's pursue this in future. For now, let's concentrate on something else. So when his boss tells him not to go to politics and put the country into premature campaign mood, this moment, it's good that he heeds it and maybe postpones it until the right time. And that is the spirit of sports. that we live to fight another day. It's not a matter of it's not a matter of life and death and doing it all today. That is my party shot on that.
Okay, thank you very much, all of you. I want to crown it this way. The winning and the losing of any competition does not mean you end up to pick panga, stones, a weapon to go and kill the one you have defeated or the one who defeated you. You notice that all the people in Britain walked home laughing, went home and did their work without any problem. Whereas in Kenya, we ended up having a team that was not ending well. We can show public relations sympathy, like here we are happy with Raila, people are running. But when we reach our confines, we tell people another message against Raila or against each other. So for me, I think my stand is the winner might be anybody. Might be you or him or the other time, another person somewhere. But the most important thing to do is to go home peacefully without killing another person. That is the democracy that we need in Africa. The type of democracy of people going to kill each other is not the democracy we win. Thank you very much. Wesonga, you must have some figures now.
Yeah. So I'll just start by looking at the total confirmed cases in Africa. They stand at 52,136. The active confirmed cases stand at 13,798, and total recovered cases stand at 36,578. Quite impressive there. And also the number of confirmed deaths at they go at 1,760. So when we look, that is by yesterday. So when you look at the specific countries, I'll just select a few. We start with, let's start with the Democratic Republic of Congo. The total confirmed cases are 10,760. Total active cases the total active cases as per yesterday are 247. Recovered cases are 10,232, and the total deaths as per yesterday were 274. When you look at Djibouti, total confirmed cases are at 5,419, and total active cases there are at 9, and total recovered cases at 5,349, and deaths at a paltry 61. So let's go to Egypt, and quite a big number there. We have 103,683. That is total confirmed cases. Total active cases a bit lower, and they are at 347. Total recovered cases at 97,355, and the number of deaths there at 5,981. So I'll just go back a bit down to the other countries. Let me check. In Kenya, here back at home in Kenya, the total confirmed cases are right now at 39,427. The total active cases are at 13,037, and total recovered cases are 25,659. And total death there at 739. And of course, in the afternoon, we shall have another figure due to the tests that have been done now previously. So those are the numbers regarding COVID. And maybe I'll just add the last country. Let me look at Madagascar. And we have the total confirmed cases in Madagascar at 16,400. 558, and total active cases there at 840. Total recoveries there at 15,486, and the number of deaths reported in Madagascar 232. So that is it, Dr. Matsanga, when it comes to COVID-19. And when I check the curve there, especially for Kenya, it's starting to flatten a little bit, because previously we had a very steep climb as the number of cases increased, but as now depending on the numbers that we are recording daily, it shows quite some smooth flattening of the curve, and we hope at the end of the day we're gonna have these numbers reducing day by day until we are able to flatten the curve in regards to COVID-19.
Dr. Masanga. Steve.
Yes.
Masanga.
Yes, perhaps maybe, Professor, that is the numbers that are according to the reports by the World Health Organization on Africa. Maybe if you could just give us maybe your take on the figures that I've read in regards to COVID-19.
In fact, in Kenya, I'm so much impressed because the number of the new cases and the number of people who are recovering, it's really very impressive, Doctor. It's really impressive, Daniel. And if we continue like this and we gonna keep the protocols as given by the Minister of Health, I'm sure we will make it, Doctor. We'll make it. And from what you can see from other countries is that their level of testing is what I suspect that some of the countries which might be reporting small cases, I don't know what their level of testing is, because for you to be sure that you are doing pretty well, you must be able to test high numbers. Is when it can be able to reflect. But if you are not doing the testing, how are you going to rate that your curve is flattening or not flattening? But on us, Daniel, we are doing pretty good, and we should continue thanking God, and everybody should be involved so that in this second wave, there's no surprise us simply by not keeping to the protocols as given by World Health Organization and the Ministry of Health and the government. So we should be able to advise people to wash their hands and keep social distance, go out when it's necessary, don't be in a crowded place. We will manage Wesonga.
Okay, thank you, Professor Jared Onyari. And of course, Javan, if you are getting us, what is your take on the numbers that I've just read there in regards to COVID-19? If you could give your opinion, maybe on statistics.
Yeah, thank you very much, Daniel and Professor Daktari. And for me, I feel in Kenya we are doing much better. And I think if we continue with that trend, if you compare the number of recoveries and the number of deaths and the number of confirmed cases, you see that the number of recoveries is quite impressive, and that is very, very good, and we are heading in the right direction. And I think it's high time as Kenyans that we continue following the government protocols to ensure that we keep these things at a path. Therefore, we should also keep avoiding crowded places like the political rallies, and I think this is where the problem lies. And the government should ensure that these political gatherings are kind of controlled, because if they continue like this, we might have the second wave of this coronavirus, and I think it should be much rapidly than the first wave compared to now, because people are very reckless, and I think it will affect us badly. And as a country, that is not the route that we want to take. We want to continue with the caution and washing our hands, and we should also keep it in mind that we are our brother's keeper. We should also ensure that our brothers and people around us are washing their hands, and that we are trying that people who are well are also well. We should get the peace and also thank you.
Yes, thank you, Karanja, for your perspective. And Professor Jared Onyari, Karanja has brought in a very important point that if these political gatherings continue as they are right now, then we are likely to go back to the same kind of situation that we are in a while back, where we reported the high numbers of COVID-19. And also we have seen that with the opening of the social entertainment joints, the clubs and the bars, we've seen that Kenyans have a total disregard of these COVID-19 measures. Do you feel that maybe this will see a number of cases sparking up once again, Professor?
To be very honest, even my daughter was asking me yesterday, how do we open the bars and the numbers are so much, and churches, we limit people going to churches, and the people going to churches, Daniel, they are sober. So from what I'm trying to say, Daniel, on the social joint restaurants and the bars, something must be done. The disease is going to come from that end. I know for you who have one towards for the road, you can agree with me that that decision, something needs to be done. Honest, that's to be very honest. They are not keeping social distance. They are not doing anything else. In fact, I don't know whether they are revenging. And as they revenge, that's why we are going to be in trouble, Daniel.
Thank you, Professor Jared Onyari. And of course, I hope all the stakeholders and Kenyans at large are listening to the kind of counsel from Professor there and from Nanyuki. I see Dr. Matsanga is back, and I'll give him the metal to take us through our next topics of discussion. Thank you.
Well, I was just listening to you. I wanted you to have a good discussion. Karanja.
Yes.
Do we go back and get new measures, add on what we have done? Are we going to have disease coming from the bars? And I am sure in Nanyuki, where you are, the bars have been opened. They have been opened, and the people are drinking up to the last minute before the bar closes, and then they run home before curfew. What is the situation in Nanyuki?
Yeah, and let me say this, after the bars are opened, you can see now the town, especially on weekends, the town is full to the street. People are getting their entertainment things as usual. People are having social parties, and they are sitting there watching people like yesterday. We see people in those places where those games are watched, they are full. And I think it's high time as a nation. And I think we don't need new rules. We need to tighten the protocols that we already have. Because we go there and we can take social distance. We go to those bars and we take social distance, and we wash our hands, we sanitize, we put on our masks. I think it is better off as a nation. I don't think we need to do any other new rules. The government just needs to tighten what we already have, because that is what Kenyans are used to. Because if we start introducing new rules and the regulations, Kenyans might start resisting, and for now it will be much harder, because they have already gone out there. There's a bit of freedom. Now if we start bringing new rules that we lock them down or we lock them away from their usual businesses, then it is going to bring a lot of the distance and one kind of a mayhem around. But if we take what we already have, Kenyans are used to them, and they cooperate fully. I think the government should tighten what we have, and the politicians, the DCs, the problem is the government should make sure that these political gatherings are controlled, and if they are not controlled, they can be done away with until we get to the election mood, because there's no need to take this country to the kind of events that we saw yesterday in Uganda. Yeah, it is a bit unfortunate, and they should go that route, and the nation will not succeed. And maybe the second wave will get, and there will be more rapidly, and more likely to be lost if we continue with the kind of recklessness that we see, especially from our political players.
Thank you very much. The situation, therefore, calls for a review, and this is my take. This is my take. Unless Professor has something else to add on, the generally on those topics from the church, succession. Let's touch BBI. Where do you want BBI? When do you want BBI? How do you want the BBI? Which way Kenya? Before I come back with, this is our last topic, BBI.
Dr.
There is a thing in the political science that if you leave a vacuum, nature hates a vacuum. Have we left the bringing of BBI too late? Are we not creating a vacuum? Why people are even creating a movement? If you look at the movement that has been created in Jubilee Party, called the Hustler Movement. The Hustler Movement is not part of the manifesto of Jubilee Party. But why has it cropped up? Let's now think as grown-up experts. Why? Have we left a gap? Is there a gap? Why? Yes, okay.
What I need to tell you, what you see around, people going to churches, people going to Mokongoteni, wheelbarrows, going to Jubilee take-up, trying to do what? Dr. Masanga, that is a momentum which is being built towards attacking the PPI. Period. There's nothing. And let me tell you, Dr. Masanga, you have been in this country, Daniel, you have been with there, and our viewers and everybody else. You see where the country was during 2017 post-election. You saw what happened. This country was headed for division. You could remember what Kina and D were doing, Dr. Masanga. They were asking for Kenya to be divided. Dr. Masanga, there were some places in this country where the portrait of the president had been removed. People had drawn the map of Kenya in their minds. Thank God that God was to speak to the prime minister and the president. They came together, they shook hands, and the country is on the road to prosperity. They identify the things which are going to which are dividing us. Corruption is one of them. The people who you assemble in terms of wheelbarrows, Dr. Masanga, that's corruption fighting back. Because all the taps have been closed, Dr. Masanga. It is because people don't want to speak the truth, but they want to speak the truth as it is. Dr. Masanga, we have had divisive election in this country, and we are going to fix IPC. So people want to retain IPC for their 2022. Dr. Masanga, when we come to national ethos, some people feel that they are not Kenyans. And you can see this one being a manifestation when you are coming on with Asras versus dynasties. Dr. Masanga, in 2007, it was us versus them. So what it caused this country? This Asra, and I want to recommend to National Cohesion Commission, that term Asra should be outlawed. The Asra and the dynasty should be outlawed, Dr. Masanga. It does not bring the people of Kenya. If you are using dynasty, does it bring people of Kenya together? If you are using the word Asra, does it bring the people of Kenya? I saw the chairman, Reverend Kobia, yesterday. He should go an extra mile and say that word Asra, no, come with another slogan which unites the people of Kenya. Even Dr. Masanga, if you want to go to a Chester political party, if it is having a name which does not bring the people of Kenya, and I don't know why the political parties have not taken this kind of action. So what am I trying to say, Dr. Masanga? The PPI report is ready. Do we go for PPI when we are facing a pandemic, Dr. Masanga? Do we just go for BBI when the people of Kenya are dying? But we thank God that we are coming out of this. And if I go by what the Prime Minister said yesterday, the report will come out anytime soon, and the regular will resume. And those who have taken to the contrary any position, Dr. Masanga will go use every other media to tell the people of Kenya why we need to support PPI, because it is after uniting these people of this country. So what you have trying to say, these people who have become reckless, people who have decided not to be very patriotic, Dr. Masanga, in a time like this for the pandemic. And I was telling someone this morning, Dr. Masanga, if you are, let me tell you that perhaps those people who you call to a meeting, they are your supporters. If they die, how are you going to be the president of this country? Dr. Masanga, when the president of the United States of America, Donald Trump, was being asked, he has been sitting with so many people in a meeting, and he was trying to talk here of his competitor, Joe Biden. He said that it is because he cannot attract people. When we want to say that keep social distance, wear the mask. So what do you want to do there, Dr. Masanga? These are the people, I don't know whether people, I don't want to use this is the term which I want to use. For the people whom they have stopped worshiping God and they are worshiping the devil. They are after the blood of the innocent people. You want people to die. The president wants to unite the country. You don't want to support him. We are trying to say that let us come together. You are running away. I do not really understand. But what I want to say that the report for BBI, Dr. Masanga, is intact. It will be released to the people of Kenya in time. It will be published, and then from there, we move on, Dr. Masanga.
We move on. We move on. That's what exactly you are saying. We move on. What is happening, Daniel?
Yes,
Professor Daniel says we move on in preparation for BBI. Did we leave it too long? Did we lose the focus of BBI? What are the main points? BBI is supposed to heal, to make a healing, a redemption.
Strategy.
Have we lost a redemption road? Are we heading towards Jeopardy? Are we heading towards Emperor Nero's den?
Yes, Dr. Matsang, and I've always, yesterday I was confiding to a friend that if the BBI report was to be unveiled and be implemented over maybe the month of May or maybe June, then perhaps most Kenyans will not have seen the need of the report because by then we did not have the revenue allocation stalemate. We did not have the contentious issue of the two-thirds gender rule. We did not have the issue of political, the kind of the political divisions that we're having right now. So I think also it has worked in the advantage of the BBI in that Kenyans are able to see some of the social, the BBI and some of the constitutional crises that the BBI seeks to address, such like the revenue allocation formula, such like the two-thirds gender rule, and also what Professor Jared Onyari has talked about, the national ethos and integrity of leadership, where leaders who are deemed to be below the bar cannot be allowed to contest for public office. Leaders who always plunge this country into mayhem and a state of despondency and chaos will not be allowed to vie for public office. So therefore, I think it is working for the good of the nation, but also we need to factor in the time constraint, because I understand that for the BBI to be successful and be implemented, we have to go through a referendum, and time is not on our side. We only have 2 years to the 2022 general election. So we need to the report to come on the table. I think this is the right time which the BBI should be brought for discussion, and therefore open the door for a referendum to happen and we are able to fix our constitution. So to me, I think time should be factored in so that we don't delay in bringing the process, because also remember, Dr. Masanga, We have to reform the IEBC. We cannot conduct the 2022 general election with the IEBC as it is constituted right now. So I think time for the BBI report to be brought on the table is now.
Karanja. Karanja?
Yes.
What do you think about the BBI, Karanja?
And let me say the building bridges initiative, as you can hear from the word, is coming to build bridges of reconciliation, bridges of development, and bridges of a prosperous nation. That is what the people.
Yes, and maybe Professor, if I could just also add on that, is that yes, if I could just add on that, is that the current scenario which Dr. Matsanga has talked about of the hustler versus dynasty, it's so similar to what.
And if the country is given enough resources to get up of its feet, then our country will develop, because an empowered position will ensure that the country grows, and a lot of things reach to the common man at the local level. It will also bring a sanity to our election body that ensures that we have a credible election, and the winner will not miss its own. And I think that is where the big thing is, and the election from this nation should not be like a competition to die for, and a competition that like must be lost. Let it be a fair competition that after winning, the winner will not take everything, not control everything, but all other tribes and communities, especially the marginalized communities, will have a take and will have a say in the nation. And like currently where there are things like blind, here we have two communities exchanging positions at the biggest position in this nation, and the president is independent. Therefore, this is something that will bring equality, even in the kind of leaders that in the leadership, especially in the executive and the legislation. And I think it has come at a good time when we had maybe courtesy of the two-guard together rule. And I think the time that the DCI should ensure that such articles that are not adding value in this nation should be abolished, because they are just bringing more confusion. And I'm not saying that women should not be empowered, but we should have a way of creating positions that will cater for them. And I think the 47 women representatives in this nation, I think that is a good number that we can go by, and that will ensure that equality is achieved. And on the wall corruption, DCI will ensure that any public officer will not do business with the government, and will be banned from doing that kind of act that ensures that they cover public resources. And I ensure that the leaders who are elected in the position of leaders are men and women of honest and integrity. Anybody who has a tainted image, they should start running and looking for that, because this ground integrity must play in hand. And that's why I think DPI should come, and they should come right now when we have this kind of environment, so that it can be implemented. Yeah.
Thank you very much, all of you. I can see quite a lot of activities on our show, and some people, as usual, have their own funny comments.
That's that.
I can see quite a lot of difficulties from some people who are very jealous of what we are doing. And for us, we shall continue to speak the truth, whether you like us or you kill us. So be it. Go and kill us, but we are not going to stop talking. That's what I said on CAS. I think, Professor, you are watching.
I didn't watch. I'll watch it.
It was very fantastic. The situation, therefore, our takeaway as we prepare this afternoon, Wesonga, you and I don't know whether you'll have time to move over to the headquarters. You have time at 3.
Yes, I'll try and check so that if it's possible.
No, checking is not worth it. So it's better we handle it. I will handle it. Professor, you'll be around 3 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I want to do a takeaway. Studio takeaway. The events in Kenya of last week up to yesterday point to one direction. That one direction is we're heading to uncharted waters of conflict. We're heading hurtling to a conflict. We have forgotten a redemption strategy, which President Uhuru Kenyatta said after shaking hands with the former Prime Minister at the doorsteps of Harambee House. They put up 9 points that affect Kenya, that have caused violence, that have caused conflict, discontent, elections, ethics, corruption, and above all, national identity. The question of national unity is a question that one cannot wash away. There's no country in the world that can fight both internal difficulties and external difficulties without fighting the question of ethnicity. Unity of purpose creates freedom for people. Unity of purpose creates development for people. Unity of purpose creates security for the people of any nation. Without a united nation, a country that not united cannot face the challenges of even a weaker obstacle that should be overcome. It is therefore our wish that the current situation, the trend in which the political tourism is taking shape, calls for the government to take up the responsibility and stop the political tourism that has started too early, where we have politicians visiting churches, politicians visiting mosques, politicians visiting markets, politicians visiting all these type of things, not for the purpose of prayer. The only place that the politicians in Kenya are failing to visit is to enhance Mara Reserve Park, a game reserve, which could actually deal a blow to some people. I'm saying it with a sense of humor, that if people went to Mara and started shouting and doing the things that they are doing in churches, the lions will not spare them.
That's true.
So I'm asking for the people of Kenya, once more, that we have been to this route in 2008, 2007, 2008. We have seen the consequences. We have walked the path. The question of division of people into enclaves of hustle and dynasties is similar to the question of Hutu and the Tutsi. The Hutu called the Tutsis cockroaches. They later on ended up eating those cockroaches with their machetes. Do we want to go to that route? Where can we and how can we stop this wagon? How can we stop the bandwagon that is hurtling us towards conflict through the narrative of hustle and the dynasty, which have become words of not cohesion, but words of separation, the words of division, not words of unity. The more people sing hustler song, the more people get agitated. A time will reach when either the hustler or the dynasty will have to defend themselves. And that is when we shall hurtle to a conflict. Let's not go that route. Let's ask the government of Republic of Kenya to take a stand to stop all activities that are geared at a hustler and dynasty, segregation, apartheid system of bringing in divisions that can destroy this nation called Kenya. Thank you, listeners and viewers.
It was good.
All right. There you are. We have it.
Yes.
We have done very good 1 hour and 45 minutes.